Hello, everybody. Welcome to Radio Sofia. Radio Sofia is an online platform to host discussions and talks on various socio-economic and political issues. This platform intends to generate discussions on topics that directly and indirectly impact our life and shape our perspectives. Today, we are going to discuss about one such key topic called child sexual abuse on Radio Sofia. I am Kranti Nanduri and I will be the moderator for the day. Sexual abuse, and in particular child sexual abuse, is very rarely discussed in popular media, classrooms, or even in the families. There has always been an air of awkwardness and tension that builds up when we talk about it. So, today, let's break the silence together and try to talk about child sexual abuse more and understand about it from Professor Rajarshi Debnath, who is a child rights activist and also the founder of Team Project Baalrakshak. Professor Rajarshi Debnath is working as an assistant professor in marketing area in School of Management and Commerce, Brainware University, Kolkata. He has recently submitted his PhD thesis in marketing area at Vinod Gupta School of Management, IIT Kharagpur. Rajarshi has actively been associated with the organization CRY, Child Rights and You, Kolkata Chapter as a volunteer for a long time, and he has also founded the Team Project Baalrakshak, which works to spread awareness among children, parents, and teachers about child rights and about child sexual abuse. So, this team, Project Baalrakshak, has won third prize in the second international workshop, The Science of Happiness, Happiness and Well-being, The Road Beyond at IIT Kharagpur. As Rajarshi believes talking is the key to spread awareness, he has also been delivering his bit by being a motivational speaker at Josh Talks. He was also an invited guest speaker at All India Radio Kolkata on World Day Against Child Labour. His social work on child sexual abuse won him several recognitions, including the Volunteer Hero Award from iVolunteer India. Without any further ado, let me welcome Professor Rajarshi Debnath. Hi Rajarshi, thank you very much for accepting my invitation to talk to us at a short notice.
Hi Kranti, thank you very much for giving me this platform so that the message could reach the mass.
The pleasure is all mine. So, Rajarshi, let me begin by asking, so during your PhD, why did you think of educating children about child sexual abuse?
Yeah, so this is a quite common question that I always get. So basically, from the childhood, I had an intention to do social service work, basically for childrens and the elders. So earlier I didn't got the platform, to do social work or do something for childrens or the people in need. But in IIT Kharagpur, I got this platform by we had IIT Kharagpur had a student chapter of CRY, that is Child Rights and You. I hope everybody knows about it. This is a very well-known organization which is other than India, which is the existence is in UK and US also. So I got the platform of Child Rights and You, IIT Kharagpur chapter, and there from there began my journey to work for child sexual abuse for the society. And one more, the reason that why child sexual abuse. Actually, I personally, being one of the victim of such a thing of sexual abuse during my childhood, so I thought that it's a long time effect within you, which uh, which is not visible to the outer world. Okay, because not all the wounds are visible to outer world. There are something inner wounds which are more dangerous and which affects more. So I thought that talking about this kind of issues is basically in our society or in our culture, we don't feel comfortable. I would not say we, but in our previous generation, but in this generation, we are much more, looking forward to talk about these issues because it is the need of the hour. I decide that whatever I have went through, I had to go through, and whatever I lost during my childhood, I had to suffer. I couldn't able to concentrate in my studies and all, and in very co-creative activities. I was become very introvert child. So I thought whatever happened to me, it should not happen to the childrens. So with that objective, with that motive, without thinking much, I decided to work in this particular a very sensitive area, that is child sexual abuse.
Thank you. You have been waiting for a platform and to voice your opinion against something that you yourself have gone through. I think
Yes, yes.
it's just a right direction. So, Rajarshi, then let's just try to understand a bit by bit. Okay, so
Yeah,
what
sure.
is child sexual abuse? How do we understand the child sexual abuse?
So, child sexual abuse, difficult to understand child sexual abuse. It could be a elder, it could be even a child abusing a child sexually. No, in simple word, if I say, any individual affecting or creating any sexual act with other person, irrespective of age, irrespective of gender, whether it could be of the victim or the abuser, is child sexual abuse. And child sexual abuse has different form. There is a law in our country, that is Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2013. So there many forms are being described specifically. So what we think in generally, sexual abuse is basically it can happen only physically. Yeah, physical is there, but this sexual abuse is also, there are some points which can which falls under sexual abuse part, but that there is no direct or physical contact. Like if a child, okay, what is a child? Okay, a simple definition of child is any person below the age of 18. One more thing before I continue further in this issue. So when I am saying child, it means both boy and a girl. It doesn't mean girl. So there is a taboo in our society that if anything, any kind of abuse or specifically sexual abuse is happening, so it could be the abuser or will always be a male, and the victim will always be a female. Okay, so this is a wrong, very wrong perception. So when I am using a word child, it signifies both the gender. Yeah, so that's why I said that it suppose a child below 18 years, it is being adopted by United Nations Children Convention also. So when person of different gender or same gender or same age group or elder the age group or younger the age group do some obscene thing. What kind of obscene thing means? Showing a nude picture to the child, okay, or asking the child to undress themselves in front of them, or the abuser themselves undressing in front of a child, and they are provoking the child or asking the child to touch their private parts. Okay, so now what is private part? Okay, so in our body, there are four area which is designated as private part, which no one can touch, and no one can touch in there, and so let it be of any gender. Okay, so what are there? First is our lips, mouth, specifically the lips. Second private part is chest. Third private part is the part below our belly, between our legs. And the fourth one is uh, below our spinal cord, or in simple word, if I say, our buttocks. Okay, so these four are the private parts. If any child is being touched there, irrespective of the concern, okay, so a child can't give any kind, because a child is means they can't give any concern, they are not mature. So irrespective of concern, I'm using the word with lot of responsibility, irrespective of concern, okay, that doesn't matter. If anyone is touching the child private part or showing them some nude photograph or undressing themselves or undressing them, okay, this kind all act falls under child sexual abuse. And for detail, you can go through the particular act, that is Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2013.
Great. Okay, so to summarize, it's basically the four private parts if anybody is touching with or without consent. So the four parts
Yes.
being lips, chest, the space between the legs, between the thighs and our bottom.
Yeah, buttock.
Buttock. Okay. So how common is it in India, the child sexual abuse up to the age of 18? How prevalent is it?
Okay, I will share some statistics from Government of India. So there is a body which looks upon all kind of criminal, means they keep record of all kind of criminal activities throughout India. So that body is called National Crime Records Bureau, which is handled by Minister of Home Affairs. So as per the latest report of NCRB, that is National Crime Records Bureau, and the latest report is of 2017. So the most number of crimes that happen with children that happened with children during 2017 was kidnapping and abduction, that is 42%. And after that, the second most crime that happened with children, that is sexual offenses. Well, that falls under Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. So that is 25.3%, which includes a child rape. Okay, this is the scenario. This is the report from which is NCRB, which has been released by Ministry of Home Affairs. So 25.3%. Okay, so I will go more bit detail about the NCRB report of 2017. So there, 32,608 cases were reported under this act, okay, under Sexual Offences Act of Children, and out of that, 17,557 were of severe cases of sexual offences which happened with children, and in 93.6% cases, in that victim and abusers are known to each other. So basically this kind of offense happen inside a common place, and as you can see the data, 93.6% the victim and abuser know each other. So if I break up more, as per the report, 10% were family members. Okay, 49.8% were family, friends, neighbors, and other known people, and 33.8% are friends and online friends. So while defining sexual abuse, I have mentioned that it could be of your younger age, same age, or your elder. So these statistics prove that. And out of this, 10,059 cases were the rape on children were registered. And since we are now sitting in West Bengal, so I would like to say a few statistics of West Bengal. So, as per NCRB 2017, West Bengal is fifth highest in crime against children. Okay, with 6,551 cases registered in 2007, which is around 5.1% of the total case registered throughout the country. And out of 5.1%, or out of 651 cases registered, 2,131 cases, that is around 32.5% of cases were registered under POCSO Act. Okay, which was registered under POCSO Act. So if we can see, West Bengal as a state in the country has registered third highest number of cases under this Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012, as per NCRB report. So this is the government data. So yes.
Okay. So basically, actually, I have two quick comments here. One,
Yeah.
About the prevalence and about the reporting. And I would like to think it is a huge misreporting given the crime statistics in our country and the culture that we are coming from. I don't think most experiences are even reported. And the second point is that it's very true when you say that it's the offense is likely to come from the people that we know. So the child and the abuser know each other. So for example, whatever I have faced in my childhood, however minor, major it has come from the close quarters.
Yes.
Inappropriate touch. So we often think sexual abuse as the extreme cases of rape, but it can be just minor cases of
Yeah.
inappropriate touching. And
Yes.
this
Yes.
can happen actually from our own age group or younger and older. You are very right when
Yes.
you have mentioned that, and it looks like it's a prevalent because in our discussions with friends, it comes up very often that at least two or three of us out of a five or six people discussing will say at least one such experience
Yes. Yes.
during their childhood. Yeah.
So, Kranti, adding to that, I'd like to share some statistics that we personally have got from our workshops. Okay, and
Okay.
not and so we have got cases as severe as a boy, a boy being raped. Okay, that we found from our workshop. So as serious as that, we have found that a girl of class 5 or 6 is being is being continuously abused by three-person, and that too a close person or the person who has a very good image in her family. So these cases are unreported. Okay, so yes, whatever cases we have found, and whenever the children has talked with us after the workshop, okay, after attending the workshop, all of them have reported, you can say around 90 to 95% children have reported or said about that traumatic incidents for the first time after they attended our workshop. Means because they don't know whatever was happening with them, is it true or it is correct or not. They were confused. So yeah, so these kind of cases are unreported because they are not aware of means what is happening with them, it is true or not. They are thinking that okay, the person is known to me, so he or she might be doing something, means that something not that is not wrong. Even though I am feeling I'm not feeling comfortable, even though I'm feeling pain, even though I am feeling very awkward, but since the person is known, since the person is very popular in my family, so they choose to keep mum because they don't know what is happening with them is correct or not. So I will share a few statistics. You can say around means 49% of cases. See, these statistics that I am sharing with you now is not any government statistic. This is the statistics of we as a team whenever we have whenever we have conducted our workshop in basically we I will just give a little background of the team. The
Sure.
Team Project Baalrakshak that I have started in IIT Kharagpur under CRY IIT Kharagpur Volunteer Chapter. So the team has started way back in 2016 and still it's working. So I was the founder, and of course, as you know, lone person can't do much. But yes, I got a lot of support from the other volunteers, and slowly people joined in the team, and it has worked. So. Uh, so from our statistics, we have found that 49% of the children reported the abuse case. The culprit was family friend or friend. Okay, 49%. Uh, 18% of cases they were close relatives. Okay, 10% of cases the culprit was school or tuition teachers, and 20% were unknown person. So this is the data that we found from our workshop.
This is extremely unfortunate to know that it is so prevalent and that it is coming from the close quarters. And now I want to ask you one more question. So, we know that the children most of the times do not understand what it is and so they're confused. But do you think they
Yes.
understand that something different is happening to them? Do they have a sense of what that do they have a sense that their privacy is being invaded or something that should not be done is being done to them, and at what age do you think they can understand?
Yeah, a very relevant question with respect to this topic. Many times, many parents have asked this thing about me. Yeah, as I will not go too much of the technicality, but I will try to make the thing understand to the listeners that see, when a child born, the child is means having his or her mother's milk. Okay, so that is a process of sucking. Okay, the child is sucking milk from her mother. Okay, so it is being said that when the child is very small, they don't have such feelings and all. But you can see very commonly there is a habit of children to put everything in their mouth. So what is the reason? Does they like the taste of everything that around there? Does they want to experiment everything? Are they means fond of everything? No. The thing is that because they had the feeling of sucking, okay, that is the first feeling they found while having the breastfeed. Okay, so they have a general habit to put everything in their mouth. Okay, so it is being said that from when a child attains a age of 2 years, they started growing the feelings, the sexual feelings. But that is very, what I can say, that is very on
Nascent.
you can't, yeah, that is you can't, means give a particular word to that because the child is very small. So at that age they had the feeling of that. So whenever so it is advisable that you should speak about these things to our children as soon or as early as possible. Yeah, at different ages the methodology or the way you are talking with your child should become mature as the child grows on. But yeah, you should start as early as possible. There is no definite age that, yeah, when a child attend a age of 5 years or attend the age of 6 years, you should make him or her aware. Why? Because uh, I think every listener will agree with me that you could have seen many cases where a small child who is not even a 1 year of age is being raped. Okay, so you means it's very means it's very difficult to say at what point of age. But yes, you could start like we generally accommodate children from an UKG and LKG also. And then you might be thinking that, so what these tiny tods will understand. Okay, so we simply make them understand that, see, we have four private parts, that is our mouth, our chest, the part below our belly between legs, and our buttocks. No one should touch in these four parts of our body, and we will also not touch. If somebody touches there, we will inform to our father or mother because it is not good habit. A very simple way we can make our children understand. And yeah, so it's not difficult. So yeah, it's very, I mean, you can't define that at what stage a children a perfect stage to talk with the children about these things. As I said, the feelings they got from the day they start feeding, or you can say the day one, the feeling of sucking while a child is being breastfed.
Okay, thank you. Actually, yeah, so that means they have a sense of sexuality. They have a sense of sexuality
Yes,
since the day they
exactly.
are born, and they can understand it, perceive it in different
Yes,
ways. And it
yes,
grows
yes.
as they grow, it becomes mature. And
Yeah.
so now, what do you think? Who should tell them? Who should tell them these things? Parents, teachers, or volunteers like us, or who should educate them?
Yeah, as in our Indian society, we say that our first school is our family, or our first teacher is our parents. Okay, and then we enter to school. So by following that our tradition, that yeah, first of all, our parents should talk with with the children. See, Kranti, here I am saying parents. I am not specifying any particular gender. I am not
Right.
saying a mother. I am not saying a father. Okay, A- anyone, either it's a father or it's a mother. Okay, like few after a few years, of course, I would be having a child. Let it be a girl, let it be a boy. I will start conversation um, whenever it is suitable for my child, irrespective of a girl or a boy. So yes, parents should start conversation with the child. As I said, you can start a very simple way, that you have four private parts, nobody should touch. You should also not touch um, these private parts of others. And if anybody touches, you simply shout no, and you come to us and inform us. That's it.
So, one very important question that comes up is once we educate them, everybody,
Mhm.
be it teachers, school, or if parents or anybody educate them, and then the child becomes aware of it, or even without anybody telling, sometimes we will become aware that something
Mhm.
wrong is happening to the
Yes.
body being done by
Yes.
somebody, and then we
Yes.
approach and tell probably the parents or the elders who are
A guardian.
having our trust, and yes, who are having our trust and confidence. And
Yeah.
often we can imagine that parents might shut it down, saying they might want to protect the child, because but if it is coming from close quarters, say relatives or
Mhm.
somebody else, then you there is a tendency to shut it down. For instance, when I was a child, around maybe 7 or 8 year old, I was
Mhm.
inappropriately touched by a father's colleague. And I came
Okay.
running and told to my mother, and then she was very careful. She told me, don't go near that person. But she said, don't tell your father. And I kept seeing that man for a long time later on. And very recently, when I told my father, he was utterly shocked and did not know what to say. So this is one thing. But when the same inappropriate touching happened from a tenant who was an undergraduate kid, immediately my
Okay.
parents asked him to move out of the house. So sometimes
Okay.
it is easy, sometimes it is not, and the people make these choices. So what should be
Yeah.
done, or how should we deal with such sensitive situations and sensitive circumstances?
Yeah. A very, I would say, a very difficult question to answer. But yeah, we need to we need to address this situation. If we go as per law, then you know what we need to do. But when it comes to, as you given a very right example of your father's colleague and then a tenant, undergraduate student. So yeah, when it is from a closed circle, what we can do, that we can actually, we can sit with that particular person, and we should warn them that whatever you have done, we are aware of that. And since you are in from our close proximity, we are warning you that this should not happen the next time. And if happened, we are going to report to the police. That is what we can do, keeping a law apart. But as law says, you should directly inform to police or to the concerned authority. But yeah, in our society, we are not so, we can't go that far when it is come from a close proximity. And yes, we have found many cases, as you said, when Kranti, when you said to your mother, and then your mother said, please don't stop, don't speak, just forget it or just shut up. Okay,
Yes.
so yeah, in many cases, children have said that I have told my mother, but my mother has said, don't utter a single word about this. okay, you just keep away from that particular person, you keep yourself away from that particular person, and no need to utter a single word. But we need to think that if that person is doing something to our own child, the same person can do same thing to the other child in our neighborhood. So when we are talking about this issue, we should not only concern about our the child which is in our home, we should concern the children in our society. That is why I said together, let's make our society safe for children. So if we are not, at least, okay, if it is from a very close circle relative, at least we should make him or her aware that we know what wrong thing you are doing. So we are giving a last chance to you कि please don't do that, or else you will be handed over to law, or you can directly hand that person to the law. But at least a warning should require. But then you have examples that there are many cases that when this kind of persons are being left just by giving a threatening, they are repeating same thing when they are moving to some other place. Now the person has become aware that okay, this particular area they had got to know about myself, but his or her world is not so small within that particular area or within that region. They are moving some to other places, and the same thing or same act can be can they can easily do there. So it's really there it could be it's a very difficult question that I have already said. But as per I understand, or as per I have worked with, I have with many child psychologists I have talked with, uh, many shows I have witnessed. So everybody has just a suggestion that if it is from very close proximity, a very close circle, at least you should make him or her aware that yes, we are aware of this. You should stop it, else you will be handed over to law.
I agree. I think that is the best way to do, because see now if I look back, when I was a child, my mother was also very young, not knowing of how to deal with such strange circumstances. But
Exactly.
now she regrets it,
Exactly.
because now it would be an entirely different way she approaches the issue. Now she will have the courage. So often in the family circumstances, when you are young mothers with such young children and young fathers also, and you do
Yes.
not know, you do not still have the courage to face the world, to question the power structures that are there around us. So I think it's a sensitive situation, but you're very right. We should make them aware that, we know. So, and you
Yes.
cannot do it. I think that's a
Yeah.
very important statement.
Yes.
Okay. So Rajarshi, then, so there are a lot of myths. I think a part of this whole idea is that there are a lot of myths about this child abuse. Like people think it is something to do with the prestige of the family, or prestige of
Yeah.
the kid. It's your to talk about it, or to accept that the child is victimized, especially in case of girls or even in case of boys. You feel it's
Yes.
kind of a shame. So
Yes.
how should we break these myths, or what should we know about it?
See, again, it's a very difficult one. But yes, I do have an answer, a tough answer. Yeah, there is lots of myth, and that is what we, among many myths, the prestige issue of our family is also a myth. Means what you will do with such kind of fake prestige issue when your own children is suffering. So your children is suffocating, and you are bothering about your prestige. Okay, so I think uh, we should, we should not think about this prestige thing. Yeah, as a society, acceptance is a big thing. We generally don't accept things easily. But Kranti, either earlier also LGBTQ, people were not accepting them. Even the law didn't accept it. But now Section 377 has been passed by government of India. Now at least law has accepted, and people have started accepting. So we need to keep on talking about this thing, and we need to we need to make people aware. We need to asked people that what are the pros and cons. Of course, no pros, only cons. I will give you example from my life, real life. So one of my close person. As I said, I have delivered my talk in Joe's talks, where I have talked about child sexual abuse thing. So many people from YouTube, they have contacted me by Facebook, by YouTube. They have contacted me. They have shared their stories, and many close people who never talked this about, they have talked. So I will share one story here. See, people think that okay, it has happened in your childhood, you will forget it as the time flies away. Okay,
I
so
don't think
what?
it happens. I don't think we'll
Yeah,
ever forget. Yes.
yes, it never forget. It never forget. You know it better. I know it better. So that's why I will share one real life story. So that person called me and said that okay, while I was studying in around class 7, 8. So uh, I went to nearby house, and there I was touched inappropriately a few number of times. So at that time, I felt uncomfortable, and I just simply avoided that situation. Nothing much happened. Okay, but when I shift, and that person is from a small town. Okay, but when that person shifted to a metropolitan city for the study or job purpose, then the person need to travel by crowded bus and train. And then what the person realized that in a crowded bus, of course, when it is very crowded, people are squeezing each other. And then because that inappropriate thing happened with that person a few means in the childhood, the person the same trauma suddenly came back haunting from somewhere. And the person was feeling that I can't travel more in public transportation because of the lots of crowd there. The person is being squeezed, and the person is feeling that people are, the person is not feeling very uncomfortable. Like Kranti, you are here in Kolkata, you might have travel by local train or bus or metro.
Yes,
You
yes.
have experienced whether
Yes.
it's a ladies compartment or it's a general compartment. It's heavily crowded. Okay, and people are squeezing, but we generally don't. We have accepted that, but that particular person was feeling very difficulty. The person was saying that the person told me that I thought of leaving everything and go back to my home. And I was, and the most difficult or the sad thing, the person told me that I could not even tell to my parents also, because if I could have shared something like this with my parents should have asked me to come back, leaving my study or leaving my job. So my career would have become gone to darker side. The person is struggling alone, and the person can't even share this to the parents also, because they don't talk, they feel shy, they don't talk. Nowadays our parents show that okay, we are very modern and all, but modern in what sense? We need to think. Are we true sense modern? Means what is the definition of modern? It doesn't mean that you are allowing your children to going to trip or coming late at night. That is not the definition of modern, what I feel. The definition of modern things, your children should talk everything with you. Each and everything you should give such space. You should make some friendly environment with your children, so that they could able to talk everything, good or bad, irrespective of anything happen. So
That's true.
yes,
I think
so
that comes from an understanding of parents also. Parents
exactly,
should study and parents should understand and become more sensitive towards these issues, and then only they'll be able to create such a space.
exactly, exactly. And parents, why don't parents talk? They think that what happened to our prestige if such things comes out. what will happen to our prestige. So
Also, I think they
yeah,
think in case of girls, I have listened to this. If we talk about this or let this information out, it will affect the girl's future. You know,
yeah,
that is also a very wrong myth, I think.
exactly, exactly. To be very specific, in girls' case, future means their marriage, isn't it, Kranti?
Yes, yes, totally.
Yeah, yeah, because I have heard these things from the parents that I will, if I will say such thing, if means whenever we have heard some cases, we try to talk with the parents. Sometimes parents had simply avoided to report, simply they avoided to talk, and sometimes the mother says that no, no, if this kind of things will come outside, then I will means nobody will marry my daughter. I have one more daughter. I have elder daughter. I have a younger daughter. So our prestige will not will go down in our society in our area. No, no, I will not. I will not. Okay. So whenever we try to convince them, they said, okay, if next time such things happen, I will surely report. And in this way, they try to avoid these cases. So yes, as I said, you only seen this act, Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. When it came just now, 2012, after so many years. So you can say means how our society is looking towards children and how seriously they are looking towards children. So day by day, budget in our annual budget, the percentage which is being spent for the development of children, it is decreasing rather than increasing. Children are the base, and I think government and we as a society has a big role to play.
I agree because I don't remember in any of my schooling, right from my LKG to the completion of my plus one, plus two, or let us say even in during my undergraduation or post graduation, I have never had a formal workshop given on the topic of sexual abuse.
Even
Nobody talked to
Kranti,
me, no parent talked to me about it, or no teacher talked to me about it. And that's the story true to most people. And when I, as a volunteer, along with the INCA initiative at IIM Calcutta, the one mentored by you, so when I have gone to the school here and interacted with the students, I was surprised because I forgot what is the mental capacity of a child. I did not remember what I was like a sixth grade student, and the response was overwhelming. And the kids are able to understand. They're so sharp. They know some things, they don't know some things, but they were very receptive. And I felt
yes,
we did make them aware. And this is something that should come. It's not, it should not be at the mercy of volunteers, but it should be an institutional effort. And I feel it's
exactly.
very low. And what do you think in your experience? Do schools do enough?
Yes. No, school doesn't do enough. I will say school, from my personal experience, most of the school we have visited, school do means in most of the cases, with full responsibility, I can say, in most of the cases, 90% of cases, school do nothing. You could means you have seen if you ask to your friends and all, even in schools teachers try to skip that reproduction chapter that is there in science,
That is
basically.
very true. I
Is it?
remember. Yes.
Yeah, that
They don't
reproduction
talk
chapter. But
about the words also. They try to avoid the word
exactly,
sex.
exactly, exactly. So I was fortunate enough that my bio teacher has taught us, very means the way that should be taught in the class with proper diagram and all. But in most of the cases, I deal when I talk with students of 11, 12, they said that no, means we haven't taught, we haven't. Most of the students say no, or I don't know whether out of shyness they are saying or what. Mostly they don't say that no, no, no. I don't know. They even
So
don't
that is
know.
true because
Uh,
I'll tell you, I'm my from my experience.
Yes, yes.
After the class, in my 9th standard or 10th standard, after the reproduction class, everything was fine. But at home, I
Hmm.
was trying to study. I understood
Hmm.
that a sperm and ovum come together to produce a baby, like a baby is
Yes.
formed. But I
Yes.
was not understanding the process of sex. There was no talk about it, and I was breaking my head. How is it possible? And then my mother helped
Yes.
me with the diagrams. She explained to me the biological process of reproduction, and which
Exactly.
the teacher did not do. And I was even more surprised that a lot of my friends, when they came to undergraduation, also they did not know the entire biological process of reproduction. What
Exactly.
can we say?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why in our workshop, what we do, especially from class 9 onwards, we talk about this thing. We talk about the private part, and it is important to the children to know the correct name of the private part. Like male private part is called as penis, and female private part is called as vagina. They should know this name. It is means whether it's a regional language medium, if it's in Bengal is Bengali, in your state it might be of your regional language. In if
Telugu,
it Assam,
yes.
it might be Assamese. Okay, so well, in whichever state it is there, the children at least from class 9, because it's there in the curriculum. So they should know the real name of the private part. Even they don't know the name in most of the cases. So um so this was the thing. And in so in most of the cases, we visited generally the government schools, okay, to do our workshops. So we have found that in there is a child helpline number, that is 1098, which is now government is making aware in every places. You can see boards and hoardings are there, and in a child help desk is there in railway station and all. And we have found in schools also the board is there. But Kranti, the saddest part is that children don't know, even though when they are entering the school, the board is in front of their eyes. But when we ask them that have you ever heard about Childline? Have you ever heard about 1098? Means 90% of the student have said no. We never heard this word. We never heard about 1098. Okay, and this is not about class 1 2 student. This is about 7 8. They are mature enough. Okay, 7 8 11 11 12. They don't know about Childline. They don't know about 1098. So from here only we can we can think that means children schools are not doing enough. Okay, government is doing from their part. Okay, they are making it mandatory to to have a 108 number in every school premises. Child help desk is there in railway station and all. But what we are doing, means what school, we are also a part of society, but what the schools are doing, they are just they're not talking about this. They are simply have put a hoarding because there is an order from government, they need to follow, that's it.
Right.
So unfortunately, schools are not doing enough. And one more thing, in most of the schools we have seen, yes, whichever school we have approached, no school has denied us to conduct a workshop. That is the best thing we have found, that every school has accepted our proposal and they have allowed us to conduct the workshop. But very few number of teachers has actively participated in the workshop. Very few number of teachers. Or in some cases, we have found teachers are just simply they are sitting, they are busy in their mobile. Teachers are just they are they are there for a few minutes and they are just going away. But very few teachers are there who has sat in our sessions. They have tried to understand, and even they have talked with us to clear their doubts. So this is happening
Okay,
why?
so from
Because of
our
that taboo.
workshop experiences also, I felt that in fact the schools are receptive. that even they did not deny. They have agreed for us to conduct the workshops. And also, one important thing I have learned from this workshop experiences is that we often think it needs to be a specially trained professional only who can take the sessions. But I understood that with minimum preparation or the required preparation of 1 or 2 days and understanding, basic understanding, we can definitely cater the basic awareness programs to the children, isn't it?
Yeah, as you said, just to make aware of the children that we have four private parts, and that not should be touched by anyone. And if anybody touches, then what should do? What we should do? For this, means there is no need of any degree. Okay, yes, but when some kid is coming and the kid is needs some kind of counseling, at that time, of course, a professional person is required to tackle that situation. But simply for awareing, a degree is not required. What do you think, Kanti?
No, I totally agree because anybody can make the person aware of this.
Of course.
And at the point of counseling and when we identify kids going through some issues or some kind of trauma, and that time we cannot handle it, and we can only direct them to the professional help. And in fact, schools should
Yeah, exactly.
schools should make available counselors. In fact, higher education universities and even institutions, higher education institutions do not have proper counseling or proper guidance. And what can we say about, what can we expect about the
Yes, yes.
schools? It's
Yeah,
unfortunate. But
yeah, yeah. But fortunately, we had a child counselor with us, our team. So, whenever some serious case, actually, we as a member, we have done a small certificate course of child and adolescent counseling to handle a basic level cases. But for some, for crucial or critical cases, we do have child counselor, so that the children could be helped. But then also at the end of the day, when see a single sitting, or a child can't be helped much. There need to be number of sittings. But you know, but if parents is not actively taking part to help their own children, then what else we can do? We can't force. We can, we have tried, 1 2 times we have followed up with the parents. We have asked them to please come and meet with the counselor. We are not, you will be not charged also. It will be simply, it will be completely free of cost. You just need to bring your children to the counselor whenever it is required. But unfortunately, the parents didn't show up. So this is the
that's the
scenario.
reality, yes. So, Rajarshi, just before ending, I want to ask one important question. Because, see,
Mhm.
now often we should also understand that we are a part of a culture, a society where the discussion about sexuality is so much of hushed under a carpet. And if you look at these offenders, they're often considered to be good people outside, but
Yes.
at various ages, like let's say if the offender is in the teenage, so they're just becoming curious to know about their own body parts or about this entire process. They're discovering, exploring their sexuality, and in that process they are committing an offense or sexual abuse
Yes.
with the children around them, right? And if and there are elderly men also, or men or of different ages or women of different ages, who are sexually repressed, and
Mhm.
they're finding out this kind of venting out channels to, and in the form of offense, which is very very
Yes.
unfortunate. So what needs to
Yes.
be done for the mindset to change? Because I feel at the end of the day, as a culture, as a society, we should become more mature, and that's when we will be able to talk about these issues, and we should no longer repress the talk about sexuality. And then systematically the issues and the offense cases might come down. So what is your take or experience about this topic?
Acha, Kranti, when you're talking about mindset, so mindset of the culprit or mindset of us as a society?
Mindset of the culprit, and
Okay.
I'm taking him as a part of the society. So both, I would say both mindsets, how do they change?
Him and her, both, no?
Yes, yes, yes. Both.
Okay. So we need to understand the scenario first. Okay, so in this case, the technical term of the culprit is basically they are termed as pedophiles. Okay, who are sexually attracted towards children. Okay, so what happened when a child is doing something or some sexual activity with a younger kid from that particular child or elder or same, if some child is doing some sexual act with another children of his or her same age or elder or younger age, so that is actually not the action of that child, that is the reaction of that child. Reaction of what? Reaction is that something similar happened with that child, means someone has done some sexual kind of activity with that child, and the child is now trying to replicate that same activity with other child. Okay, so this is the so the children is not actually the particular child who is here is in the platform or in the stage of culprit, is actually not you can say a culprit, because it is not his or her action, it is the reaction of that particular child. Okay, and if we take the case of elders, okay, so in case of elders, they think that there is a study among the pedophiles who are being in Tihar jail. There is a study, and the psychologist has find that actually they think that they have done nothing wrong. Okay, they think that children also enjoy that particular sexual activities, so they think that they haven't done anything. Okay, so it's difficult to change their mindset. Okay, so if means we as a society, what we should do? Okay, what we should do to decrease these sexual offenses with children, what we should do? The we should do is we need first we ourselves need to be aware of this particular thing, very well aware of this particular thing, and after that we should make our children aware of this thing, what to do, what not to do, how to do, how to tackle this kind of situation. So awareness is the main thing, and awareness is the only solution to help in decreasing this kind of sexual offenses act with the children.
Right. So we should, like you say, we should actually keep talking, and only then, like,
Yes.
we are, well, in the process of making the society safe and better for children, we are making it a better and safe society for all of us, right?
Yes. To share some very important thing. Yeah, we should talk that we do. I request to the parents or the elders who are listening that you should talk about masturbation with your children, irrespective of a boy or a girl. You should talk that what is that the body is nothing different, whether it's a boy or whether it's a girl. Okay, but because of functions, different functions, the a male body has different function, a female body has different function. That is why the structure is different. I will quickly give an example that I used to I used to discuss with the children, means basically the children from class 9 onwards. So what do, because in our curriculum, in our education system, the reproductive system is being introduced generally from class 9 or class 10. So we talk about menstruation, we talk about masturbation, we talk about male body, female body, to elder children, so the children's class 9 onwards. So just quickly I will give you example that we all know that whether it's a male or whether it's a female, both have nipples in their chest. Okay, so but in female, they have breast. Okay, the nipple turn to breast. Why? Because they give birth to a child and the child need to be fed. Okay, so it is the nature of that female that because they need to because they give birth to a child and the child need to be fed, so their chest become breast, and the male, this kind of functions is not the a male, naturally a male can't give birth to a child, so the male is not means they need not to feed the child. So you can say both the gender have a similar body part, but because of different function, the structure is different. Okay, so we should respect, because many times girls have said, that the boy used to tease them with different words using by or slang words they use, and they used to tease the girl. So we need to make our children understand that we should respect each other gender. Okay, and the last thing, that so if these things happen, so where we should approach. Okay, what are the legal things available to us? I will share this. So first, as I say, in every police station, the second officer is there. He or she, the second designated officer is being appointed as child welfare officer. So anybody can approach to the child welfare officer and can lodge complaint, anything related, any illegal thing happen, unlawful thing happen with a particular child. Okay, next, the number 1098 is there. That is completely toll free, 24/7. One can call to that particular number, and anyone can seek help. Next, there is a website called National Commission for Child Rights. So NCRB, National Commission for Child Rights. I am not able to remember that. So you can type e-POSCO box. Okay, e-POXO box. So there anyone, a children can also register, because now in this pandemic situation, everyone is going digital. Even small school children are having their school lessons over mobile or laptop. So one can go to that particular website, and there is no need to give your name. Okay, you can just simply register any complaint. Just you need to give either your email address or mobile number, so that you can be contacted for further investigation. So in ePOSCO box, you can go and you can register the complaint. Okay, so this much I'd like to share. Yeah, Kranti, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Actually, yeah, this is very important. The legal actions available to us, legal measures available to us, and one important thing you have mentioned is about talking about body, talking about menstruation and masturbation, especially to both girls and boys, because
Yes.
I, for the first time, I heard the word masturbation in my undergraduate. Towards the end, no, it's actually in my post graduation. So,
Okay.
so it's that.
It's
That's how. Yeah, I mean that's how it is. That's how the reality is, and nobody till now talked to me. It's only the friends. So we cannot leave the entire sex education to friends, because not always we have friends who are well educated, because they are not taught. So on this
yeah,
note, I think on this note we can end that there is a long way to
yeah,
go and so
yeah,
much to
sure.
talk about. So thank you very much, Rajarshi. It's been like very, very enlightening and educative talk, because this is such an important topic and we hardly discuss these issues. And with your experience and with your study on this issue, you have given a great insight to all of us.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Kanti,
for
for
sure.
giving me this platform.